Rutgers fans, just here to recap Rutgers basketball's 71-40 victory over St. Peter's. That whole little nucleus forming and trying to coalesce and become an actual team. I think we're finally starting to see some of that here. Cliff Amori, I really honestly think we're going to see another gear from Cliff once we get into conference play. I hope that's true because we need that to be true. We'll see Saturday against Illinois as the Illini come in to play us. This is a team that's been a budding rivalry in the Big Ten. I believe they are ranked. This is going to be our first true test since the Princeton game, and it's a conference game, so you know it's huge. But, Cliff in this game and Cliff in the second half of a lot of games so far this season, you've seen that he has another gear. He's still the same player that we've had. It's not like a lot has changed, although he's kind of carrying us on free throws, him and Simpson, and even Simpson was off tonight a little bit. But I think Cliff has another gear, and he's going to be a serious weapon, as we all think and know he can, and as he has been. And I really think there's another gear there, especially in post play, especially on the boards, especially on defense, that we're going to see from Cliff. We need that. Gavin Griffiths, it's nice to see him grow as a player, because he's not there yet. He's still a young player, but you're starting to see what his game is and what his game can become, right? The moves, hitting the boards, now even defense, getting a couple steals there, has to understand the nuances of contact and whatever else to stay out of foul trouble. But then two beautiful threes that he hits. Just really nice game for Gavin Griffiths. Just to see him starting to become the player you think he can be. Noah Fernandes, this is a guy we thought we might get tonight anyway. A guy who can score, a guy who can play in control, especially if you need the team on the floor to be in control. He is somebody you can lean on in that regard, at least based off this game. We're seeing the Wolf thing. The Wolf at the 4 spot with Cliff. We've seen it a lot now. This is a couple games where we've seen the starting 5, include Wolf and Cliff as the 2 guys down low. Tonight was Wolf, Cliff, Hyatt, Simpson, and Fernandes. They rolled with that for quite a while. Then they subbed in almost a whole nother team. It does look like Jamichael Davis is going to get some legitimate run with this team when conference play starts. So look, you can't judge a lot off of a St. Peter's team who is, has been really kind of abysmal. I know they ran with Seton Hall for as long as they did. I know they have some gritty players who wanted to play hard in this game. But, they've won one game. There clearly were supposed to be a guaranteed win at home going into this season. They played, gutsy in the beginning, and you got to give them that. But you can't judge Rutgers off of this win, to be honest with you. Not in terms of the margin of victory and whatever else. Rutgers actually looked really sloppy on offense early in the game. Not necessarily sloppy, but just unable once again to connect on shots, which has been a problem that's been plaguing this program for quite a while now. And the free throw shooting is once again abysmal. That's got to change if Rutgers wants to, be a contender for a tournament appearance this season. So I'm not judging this performance really off of the win and the margin necessarily. But Rutgers took care of business and took care of business with a margin you would want them to take care of business with to be able to say, look, we feel confident where the team is, where it's going. But I'm more interested, quite frankly, in the fact that, the team is starting to look like a team, irrelevant, irrespective of who the opponent is. The team is starting to look like, they know who they are and we see what they can be, and they are starting to develop as a team in that regard. So it's nice to see Cliff almost that double-double, not quite. Fernandes playing in control, his best scoring game thus far. Griffiths taking some steps. Austin Williams was back in the lineup. I thought he performed pretty well with the limited minutes he had. Had a nice steal, had some nice moves. Again, he plays in control. I think a lot of what goes on with these lineups is going to be, opponent dependent and, where the team is, who's hot, who's not, what the situation is, what the matchups are. I think that's what we're going to see with this team going forward. But we took care of business. Now, look, the schedule takes a step up now. You got the Illini on Saturday. Then you have some tough games coming up in December. You got the Mississippi State game. You got Seton Hall. You have other teams. And then obviously the gauntlet will be upon us after the new year. So the Knights want to get a win against a conference opponent to lock it in. Football team was able to do it with Northwestern and then go further into their out-of-conference schedule and do what they had to do. Hopefully the basketball team can do it. It's going to be a tough test. I'm looking to see in this game coming up with Illinois, you know, who plays and what are the rotations, right? And I'm looking to see if we get what we need out of these players, right? Griffiths needs to play a couple meaningful minutes. I don't expect him to get the lion's share of minutes, but he needs to be able to sink some threes. He needs to be a presence when he's on the floor. He needs to start earning more minutes because we need him on the offensive side of the ball. He needs to start earning more minutes on the defensive side, which I think we saw some steps toward tonight. Derek Simpson, we absolutely need him to continue to cut to the basket. And, I mean, look, you're finally seeing, and hopefully it stays consistent. I'm sure he'll have an off day, but you're finally seeing Derek Simpson take that step that we wanted him to take from freshman to sophomore year. He's sinking threes now. I don't expect him to be a lights-out three-point shooter. But, you even look at guys like Ron Harper Jr. and how much they improved with their three-point shooting from freshman to senior year. I think if Derek can continue to take these steps forward and continue to create by driving to the basket, either for his teammates or, getting to the free throw line, we have a chance to be okay this year. But it remains to be seen if we can do that against formidable upper echelon opponents. And our first major test is coming this Saturday. So I'm curious to see what the rotations are. I'm curious to see what the minutes are. I'm curious to see who Pike puts with who. And I'm curious to see how they do. We need these guys who I've been talking about all year to bring their game and be consistent. Hyatt, another pretty good game, but and I'm not even knocking him. It's just it's unfortunate that he has trouble finishing around the rim sometimes because he's actually a good player who's constantly at the rim with an opportunity to score. And if he could put those in and figure that out, he'd be even better. I expect him to be able to do that at some point here. But I'm really curious. Our first real test, aside from Princeton, which didn't end up great, but we also didn't really have our ducks in a row. First real test where Pike should have some semblance of an idea of what he wants the lineups to be, what lineups he wants to use at what times, etc., is coming up on Saturday against the Illini. So enjoy the win on this Monday, Rutgers fans, and get ready for a big one Saturday. Let's get in the building. Let's get loud. And I'll be talking to you as soon as that's over. Go Knights.